You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, so why don't we just go ahead and get started with Tom from Wyoming.
Hey, Tyler from Wyoming.
Oops, I have
You
Tom.
called it a long time ago, dude. The Narv dog is out of here, and it's McMahon time. McManus is in the house. Here we go. Hopefully it's a good signing. We just can't get kickers right, but hopefully this is a step or a kick in the right direction.
I always hate to say it can't get much worse, but I have to, you got to feel good about this. We went from the worst possible situation to a guy that even if he regresses, it should still be a step forward. I don't know. It's also fun when you fire up the podcast and find out what part of history we have just entered. And apparently this is where we have entered. Good timing, because we didn't end the podcast yesterday on this. So today might be kicker day. Garrett, what's up?
Hey, Ryan. This is Garrett.
What's going on?
From Southern Illinois. Long time since I've gotten a call in. So just wanted to say that, with this Texan game coming up, they are definitely a better team than what Green Bay has faced lately.
Yes.
So hopefully, being that it's a whiteout game, these guys are pumped up wearing the new...
To be fair, via DVOA, I think the Vikings are the number one team in football. So not quite that difficult.
New unis. I can't say that the last time I've been to anything whiteout, probably been, I can't even think how long. Probably, I can't think of the guy's name. Played saxophone in the 90s. Anyways, that joke has been lost. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought. It's been so long since I've called in, Ryan. I can't even make a good, decent call. So there. Up. I'll just make this point and I'll get off.
It's like Jordan Love, dude. You gotta get a couple just words out. You know, just throw a few of them out there in the universe, and then all of a sudden, greatest call of all time. You know what I mean? That's what's coming. By the way, we got of our 12 remaining calls, we got this one. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more are also Garrett.
I'm impressed with that the offense is starting to come together.
Yep.
But I'm more impressed with Evans. Man, Evan Williams, dude, is the dude. I watched one clip where he's just reading it so perfectly. The guy, again, you've made this point. It's not sometimes about the athletic ability, it's the football mentality. Yep. And this guy's got football mentality coming out of his ears.
Well, and he's such a perfect example of that because, not that we need any more examples, but look at Darnell Savage. That guy had everything you could ever want physically from a safety. Javon Bullard technically should be a better safety based on his physical attributes. Everything about Evan Williams says maybe he'll be good, but there's not a whole lot to go on. The fact that he's come in and performed at this level should be everything we need to know. And by the way, this shouldn't be super shocking. Adrian Amos was a fantastic football player. He's like a 4th-round pick, I think. A lot of safeties are not first-round picks that have been the top safeties in football. And like I've said a lot of times, I mean, that's true of every position. I think ultimately, it always comes down to football acumen, whether it's intelligence, mentality, instincts, whatever. Those things that make people good players. Your physical attributes, the stuff that you see at the combine and all the other flashy stuff, that just kind of goes to show, like, if you're at a 10 out of 10, how good you're going to be. If you're at a 5 out of 10, if you're at a 2 out of 10. But you'd rather have a 10 out of 10 5th-round pick than a 2 out of 10 first round pick. Like, if Darnell Savage had panned out, if he was just a good football player, that guy would be Hall of Fame level good. He's just not a good football player. And that's, unfortunately, the hard part about trying to figure these things out. You look at it and go, this guy's, he's okay, that guy, da, da, da. It all just comes down to how good of football players are they going to be. And it's also hard because in college, they're all kind of good football players. But how many can take the next step and still be a good football player? We don't know the answer to that. I don't know that anybody's been able to crack that code yet.
So I'm really beginning to get over all of these Georgia Bulldog draft picks because, man, they're just starting to pile up as a bunch of garbage. And I don't like calling people garbage, but
yeah, it's a bad habit.
Stokes is getting less and less reps. Quay is continuing to not show out.
Mm-hmm.
He is just leaving guys wide open. He can't cover worth a hoot sometimes. Devontae Wyatt, the jury is still out on him. I think, like you said, his stats are looking good, but his grades are not. So all of these Georgia picks, man, are just starting to sour on me a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not just us. I mean, the Eagles have gone that route too. And granted, like the super early defensive tackle guys have seemingly panned out, but a lot of the other guys have not. The corners, the linebackers, I'd have to go back and look. I don't think most of them have ended up being very, very good, which, again, you go into it and you say, well, what's another characteristic we can try to check off a box? And you can say, well, these guys, they're good and they play for big programs. They play for a successful program, so you know what it's like to be on a successful program, to play in big games, which they play in the biggest games, and be up against some of the best competition. It kind of just gets you closer to the NFL to be like, well, it's maybe more likely that they take that step and can be this good in the NFL, but it just I don't think it works. I think the gap is still so big that you can't. It doesn't help. It doesn't actually close the gap, I guess. I don't know what to do about that necessarily. But that plan, in theory, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think in practice has proved to be a successful strategy. Like, take guys from big programs because they've played in big games, they've played against better competition, they know what it's like to be in a winning organization with winning characteristics and how to carry yourself and whatever, how to lead. I don't know that it helps the chances of conversion.
We'll see. But let's hope Green Bay has a really, really good offensive plan to go against this good defense and this really good pass rush. So maybe our defensive line can learn a few things from Texans' offensive line or defensive line. Sure. So we'll see. That's Garrett. I'm out.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be digging into the Houston Texans. I know about as much as you at this point because I haven't really dug in much more than what we've already talked about. Looked at C.J. Stroud, look at the guys that are injured and kind of the impact of that, so their backups, et cetera, et cetera. But a full picture view, especially of that defense, and it's a successful defense. I think they're ranked number 2 via DVOA. We'll look at that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it is a talented defense, and we got to dig into why. And yeah, hopefully they can figure something out. I'm always hopeful that we're going to take a step forward. As much as I'm a skeptic at heart, when you look at the pass rush rates of our defensive line, it doesn't make sense. And so that is what gives me sort of the optimism, is the fact that I feel like what's happening right now is not normal and is not, I don't want to say not sustainable, but kind of. Unless there are outside forces such as, the way that this scheme works, but that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at his defenses and see if his, defensive linemen didn't have really high pressure rates. I don't think that was the case. But, I still can't explain it, and I know that it's really weird. And I know that the players that we have are all better than what they're performing at. I mean, literally every single one of them is better than what they've done. This is everybody's worst year ever. So I'm always expecting a step forward. And then what does that do? Because I already kind of like the defense. You stupid Jaguar microphone. I like the defense already as it is. You add in pass rush, good Lord. And again, I'm specifically talking about the front four pass rush. The pass rush overall is not as bad. But we'll see. It's a big game, and it's one of those games you really need the team to step up. They did it last week, and we need them to do it again.
So pretend the last call really didn't happen.
Okay.
So as I was referring to Green Bay wearing its new unis, all white uniform and just being white out. Last time I was at a white out was at a Kenny G concert. I'm out.
All right. So I don't know, man. As far as the whiteout thing, I mean, I guess to some degree it's kind of cool. It's winter. It's, the freaking cold is coming or whatever stupid nonsense. That who's the Barstool? Big Cat. He had made some kind of a comment saying, I hate the Packers, but their uniforms are football, and you should not be messing with it with all this nonsense. And to some degree, I agree. Now, some of these uniforms have become so common that, especially since they're so successful, I mean, it's like their win rate at home wearing these uniforms is really high. So some of them have grown on me, but I don't want to really expand it so much. I do think the Packers uniforms are iconic. I'm not trying to be old man, get off my lawn curmudgeon, but I don't know. It's whatever. It's freaking whatever. It's a way to sell more shirts, hats, jerseys, whatever. But I'm not massively interested in it.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy from Minnesota.
What's up?
Couple quick thoughts. First one is kind of concerning. And I'm concerned with Romeo Dobbs. The very blank effect he had during the game after he did so well, and the way his teammates were coming up to him and, trying to help him out, trying to prop him up. It was just, there was nothing there. It was just like looking into a box, an empty box. Very little, if any, emotion. And it's just troubling if he is, and God, is a speculation, if there is a mental health issue, how is he dealing with things? And it's concerning, especially when we go into the off season, when he doesn't have the structure that he has now with the team, with practice, with meetings, with games, working out, whatever. How does he handle it? And it's kind of scary. I hope if he needs help, he can get it. I hate to see anyone troubled like it seems like he is. And then my other thought was quite well.
And I will add to that, because again, there are a lot of let's move on people, and I to some degree understand that, especially since it's kind of touchy and you don't want to overstep bounds or whatever the case may be. But again, on the other side is exactly what Randy's saying, where look, if there's an issue, we can't ignore it. I mean, not that we as fans can do anything, but I would hope the team, the organization, whatever, wouldn't ignore it. That we would acknowledge it, address it, whatever. But let's not forget, we had a situation similar to this not too long ago, and it cost us kind of a really talented player. And that's Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy dealt with severe depression after, I think it was Hurricane Katrina. Kind of wiped out his, I don't remember the exact story, but I think his family home and all that stuff. And he just really struggled with that. People make fun of him because of his weight and whatnot. But even that, I think, came down to his mental health issues. He's a great guy, happy guy, fun guy, but I think there were a lot of struggles. I think his passion for football wasn't always there. The weight became a problem, and I really think it kind of hindered what could have been a even better career. Not that he had a bad career or anything, but it just kind of flamed out, and it also had a hard time kind of getting going in a way that you wish it would have. So it's not like people don't have struggles. And it's unlikely that nobody on our team has any of these kinds of struggles. And when something like this happens, it's not that hard to believe that maybe this is one of those situations. So just to kind of go along with what you're saying, Randy, and kind of counter the, it's ridiculous, everything's fine narrative. It's not ridiculous. It's a very common thing. It's a very scary, a very serious thing. Whether or not that's a reality with Romeo, I don't know. But a lot of the signs are there, and it's concerning for not just the team, but for him and what can be with his career, because he's a talented football player.
Walker, you think if
Well, I recorded about 40 minutes worth of that sound, and I just found out about it, so I'm not going back and doing it all over again. So, I don't know, man. I think we just got a super short episode today. Sorry to Randy, Garrett, Steve, Garrett again, and Garrett again, and Steve again. Whoever it is, I'm going to end up skipping, but yeah, I'm not. I'm pissed off enough as it is that I just wasted 30 minutes recording and responding to all that stuff. So I'm just not starting over. So sorry about that, and I don't know why that keeps happening. I don't know what's causing that, but just is what it is. I'll try to. I don't know how I don't catch it. I always go back and re-listen to stuff because I can't remember what I don't hear it. I don't know if it just pops up after the fact or what. But yeah, I just lost 30, 40 minutes worth. But sorry about that. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.